White Sox very own Chuck Garfien joins us now. Chuck, great to see you. How are you?
It is great to be here talking baseball, Bear stuff. Come on, Bulls, Blackhawks. Let's talk White Sox.
Let's talk White Sox in December.
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, you got some winter meetings coming up.
Yes.
You're about to head to Dallas next week. What should priority number one be for Chris Getz in that front office?
I mean, number one. Actually, it's number one for the offseason now that they have Will Venable hired, is going to be trading Garrett Crochet. That is going to be topic number 1 through 10, basically, for the White Sox next week. And even it's ongoing. It could happen any time. It doesn't have to be the winter meetings. You hope it would be just because we're going to be there. So why don't you make a trade, Chris Getz, while we're there? But
plus the proximity to the other teams, you would have better conversations in person in the back room, hiding from all the media. I mean, those are the kind of things that happen at the winter meetings.
What you're hoping is that, yes, that does occur, but there are sometimes, every year seems to be different. Sometimes there's just one signing, a free agent signing, can backlog the entire winter. Free agents, trades, whatever it might be. So what I'm hearing is that, okay, if Juan Soto, he's the big kingpin to this whole thing, and if it sounds like, if I'm going off reports, if they're right, that he is close to making a decision. If that happens, that just affects so many other potential deals, and that's what I'm looking for.
In terms of dollars available, maybe to some teams, but the positional market, yes. But the pitching market, Blake Snell, Dodgers. Still, Max Fried is out there. Burns still out there. Aren't you waiting to see where they go? Wouldn't the Sox, even if Soto signs with whoever, say he goes Dodgers next week, say he goes Mets next week, still, you're going to have to wait for those starting pitchers to sign somewhere to know who needs an ace.
Well, that's true. But what I was saying with Soto is that, okay, we're going to try to spend all this money to get Soto, and if we don't,
it's a budget.
It's a budget.
Okay, that's fair.
There's just a lot, because a lot of the teams that want Crochet, they also want Soto. So that's all I'm trying to say.
The
teams that want Crochet can probably afford both. Red Sox, Phillies.
That's the
Those
appeal
are
of
two teams,
Crochet.
right?
Yeah, because he's got arbitration. He comes at a cheap price. How do you think Frankie Montas's deal impacts Garrett Crochet's market?
Went to the Mets last night.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to someone who's an employee here who's a diehard Mets fan, and he's like, we want Crochet. I'm like, I have not heard Mets and Crochet, but I looked at their prospect list, and if you just line it up, it's very much like the Red Sox and the Orioles. They've got a lot of high-end position player prospects to the Mets. So I'm going to throw the Mets into the equation as well. It hasn't been talked about just because of a colleague of ours who's a big Mets fan.
I don't like that, Chuck. I don't like that inclusion. I don't like them going to the Mets.
Why?
Because I think the Cubs could be in there too.
Okay,
the Cubs could be in there.
We talked about this. There's a lot of great prospects there with the Cubs, and so. But the question is, what kind of prospects do you want if you are Chris Getz? Do you want prospects that are going to be ready in a couple years? Do you want prospects that we can maybe see next year? Like, what are you looking for?
I know what I want, Chuck. What would you say? I know what I want.
Okay, I want to hear what you're going to say.
I want two guys who were top 100 prospects, ready to go AAA next year, major leagues, on the verge, on the cusp of greatness. Then I want another guy who might be top 100, but is maybe AA or younger, so you can have a guy. I want 3 top 100 prospects for Garrett Crochet.
As someone who covers a team on a daily basis, I want them to be as good as possible, as quickly as possible. So I want AAA Major League ready players now. Give me that.
You want the Red Sox deal.
Yeah.
You want the Gold Glove outfielder.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And but then you're looking at the deal that was made at the deadline last year that's been panned a lot because Miguel Vargas came over here. He was a top 100 prospect a year ago. A year ago, and we saw what happened. Hopefully he has a comeback season. And then the other 2 guys in the deal are 19 years old. They are a couple of years away at very least. So maybe he does spread it around, but at the very end, I just want the best possible players. But then again, they're prospects, and that is just, honestly, throw a dart against the wall.
You just don't know.
Is that the right number, though? Three prospects, right? 3 prospects that you can envision
You want 3, you're probably going to get 2.
Don't you want guys who are positional players and not pitchers?
Yeah. This team needs hitting more than any offense in the history of baseball.
I'm telling you, that's why the Cubs make sense. Owen Casey, Alcantara.
Who
says no?
You're making a good case here, David.
No. Will the Cubs say yes?
The Cubs have all these prospects, and they're blocked at the major league level. They got all these no trade clauses. You can't bring up these guys. Trade them for Crochet. Crochet would fit. I know they just signed Matt Boyd.
Yeah.
I would not avoid Garrett Crochet
still-
because you got Matt Boyd.
Hey, Brooke,
Right.
you know where David Hall wants Garrett Crochet to be traded?
I'm sensing the Cubs.
I think
just
he
saying-
wants him going to the Cubs.
I'm just saying, it'd be a fun story, too.
I know, it's a great story,
Yeah.
but I mean, that is going to be the story we'll be watching. Luis Robert Jr., he ain't getting traded. I'm just going to say it right here, right now.
You're saying-
On the lead, breaking news, he will not be traded, and here's why. He's not
Why?
going to get traded.
Why?
If there is a worse time for the White Sox to try to trade Luis Robert Jr., now is that time.
The Athletic told me they're asking for too much. Is that why? That was the report today.
Because
That's
I
what's
just know
so
what I
risky.
and
read.
they should be, because why would you trade Luis Robert Jr. at his lowest market
That's the thing.
value ever? You're not going to get what you should be getting from him. He needs to get out there next year, play well, don't get
I
hurt,
want Ryan
and then
Fuller
you trade him.
to fix his swing. I want Ryan Fuller, the new director of hitting, to figure out what
Want
is
to get
keeping him
healthy.
back.
He needs help. He needs to be able to sustain a full
that's it, isn't
season.
it? Yeah.
That's
You're
why.
who has leverage right now? The White Sox have no leverage in trading Luis Robert Jr. unless an a contending team loses their center fielder and they're desperate for him. I just don't see that happening before the season starts. So Luis Robert Jr. Are we on the air?
Yes, we're on the air, Chuck.
Will not be traded this offseason.
That's not news, though. That's a prediction. I'm just gonna tell
No,
you.
it's news.
All right.
I've come from the future. I'm reporting news from the future. He's not traded this offseason.
How many games
the
Sox Sox
By the way,
future.
he
Okay.
gets traded, and we can burn this, right?
Yes,
Okay,
we
good. All right.
yeah. I
No
don't
one
think
will see
anybody.
this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to see this. But talking about the player moves, let's talk about the coaching staff here, because it looks like he's going to bring back some guys from the old regime here. Marcus Thames, their hitting coach, pitching coach Ethan Katz, and Grady Sizemore. They are all sticking around. What are your thoughts?
I think it makes sense. I mean, the offense was terrible, obviously, and are you going to pin this on Marcus Thames, who I mean, I don't know if any hitting coach could have fixed this offense last season. Now you have a director of hitting who, in Ryan Fuller, who I think is aligned with Marcus Thames, and they've had so many different hitting coaches. I think it's 4 in the last 5 years.
That's a lot.
So you're going to throw another hitting coach on top of it. So stay with Marcus Thames, because I just don't think he was really the problem with this offense.
I'm with you there. I do have questions about Ethan Katz. I wonder how he's been able to survive this long, because yes, they have good young pitching, but there's been a lot of changes within the Sox infrastructure. He's survived now how many managers? Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Why aren't you surprised?
Okay, well, once upon a time, he had Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
He had Ronaldo Lopez.
True.
He had Lucas Giolito.
Carlos Rodon.
He had Liam Hendricks. This is a talent problem, not an Ethan Katz problem. Now, is he fixing everybody? No, but he has been very effective at times, not more than at times, but when the roster, all his best pitchers were traded away. Now he has reclamation projects wherever he goes, or young guys who are coming up here. Jonathan Cannon did a good job last year. Garrett Crochet. I mean, there are enough examples for me that I feel like Ethan Katz is clearly a guy who should stay.
If Brian Bannister endorses him, I
Yeah.
think that comes with the ultimate stamp of approval because of the respect he commands.
And I think, too, we do want change, but I also think having some sort of consistency does help with Clubhouse, because there are players that are returning. They do. I just think when it comes to establishing a culture, you need a few guys, a few familiar faces for those guys.
Especially when you have a young pitching staff, when you got Drew Thorpe, when you got Jonathan Cannon, you got guys like that. Noah Schultz, is he going to be in Chicago this year?
Great question. I'm going to say no. But
No, Noah?
Is that breaking news?
Is that from the future?
Do you want non-definitive breaking news? Because that's what it is. Because I don't have the full
Can I ask
answer.
Chuck a question while we have him here?
Yes.
I want to know about the bench coach, Walker McKinven.
Yes.
I know he comes from the Brewers. What exactly will be his job? What exactly was his job? The run prevention coordinator.
Yeah, this is
in Milwaukee.
The new analytics that we have today.
Explain this one to me.
All right, so it's run prevention. So he works very closely with the catchers, and he made William Contreras and Omar Narvaez much better catchers with the Brewers. And it's working with the pitchers and just making sure you have a better game plan to beat that team that day, and making sure that this pitching staff and and the catchers have the right information going into a game. He is beloved there in Milwaukee. It's a big, big loss for them, and you just hear what people are saying about them losing him. A big win for the White Sox.
Local guy.
and a local guy. That's right.
And you can check Chuck out every week. He hosts a White Sox podcast.
Yes.
He talks about that and much more. It's a really good podcast, guys. Check it out. Who's on the next episode?
Next up, well, we had Steve Stone out. That was on today. And I've got a special one looking at Dick Allen's candidacy for the Hall of Fame coming out on Thursday.